All right, ready to go. So, good morning, everybody out there from Inspired Online. I'm Shay Ali, and I'm here with you today with the beautiful Runa Magusdottir. So, Runa is coming to us live from Iceland, and she is not only one of the premier people that works with the Icelandic government to figure out what they should do, how they should brand themselves and all that kind of thing, but she has an amazing range of projects that she does as well. So she is a branding expert, but she's also done some incredible things, including setting up a group called the Changemakers, who've spoken at the UN and advised on things that we can do in terms of creating a positive change. She also is the co-founder of the No More Boxes movement. So if you were with us last week, you would have seen the lovely Nick Haynes with us. And, I said this Saturday, we have his work wife. So if you like Nick, you're going to love this as well. And so she's got such a wealth of skills, experience, and just on a personal note, such a beautiful, strong, inspirational, it's just everything in this wonderful package. So I'm delighted to be joined by Runa today. So Runa, welcome to Inspired Online, and we'll start with the standard inspired question, which is, if you had 10 minutes to share your wisdom with the world, what would you say?
First of all, thank you, Shay, for this beautiful introduction. I'm actually not Shay, I'm shy when I listen to that. What I would like to tell the world at this moment in time are actually three things that I think is really important that we do. And to give a little context before I tell you the three things I think that we need to do is I look at this time as time out. I look at that we've been given this gift that I call time out. And if we look at it like a game, if we look at it like a football game, football match, or handball or basketball, whatever it is, really look at yourself. If that is where you are and you're coming into the locker room halftime, and it is that time for you as the coach in your own life to look at, how did the first half work for me? What was the thing what am I learning? What are the things that are coming my way that I might not even have listened to really deeply? And I think in this moment of time, if we look at this as it's halftime, it is my time to look at myself. It is my time to look at, how have I been treating myself? How have I been treating my family, my friends, my community, my co-workers, my country, the world? And what are the consequences of that box that I talk about, boxes? Yes. What are the consequences of maybe the box that I have put myself in, thinking, I'm not big enough, I'm not good enough. What we've noted with the No More Boxes movement, as we're taking now people through, we're opening up every Friday. We've been talking with people. We're having these 2 calls every Fridays, looking at how do we create the future from now. And the being not in that I'm not good enough box is definitely a box that most people recognize. And I want to give you one story here before I go into the three things that I think that I need to go. It all has a link in there. So,
all good.
Yeah. So back in 2008, when in my life was another halftime, that was when the economic crash was. And being in Iceland, we got really badly hit. And there are many things that I can see rising up, like things that are similar at that time, like empathy, understanding of your neighbor, being more in the now. You know, there are a lot of things, but then of course we were all together at that point, but now we can't be together. So it's different in many other ways. But one of the things that you could see was a lot of entrepreneurial thinking went on. It was like a light bulb was switched on, and people came together and said, what can we do? And I was one of the leaders that put together what we called a national assembly. It was a phenomenal project. I was so proud to be part of that. We brought together in one day, across the nation, 1,500 people, whole day in a big stadium, and we were looking at our vision as a country, our values as a country, and it was absolutely mind-blowing day.
Wow.
Now, this group did that just all on own. It organized and did everything, and when we had the results, we had 12 values. And I remember the last meeting, we came together and said, okay, now we have these results, what are we going to do with it? And the group decided to hand it over to authorities, and leave it to them what they want to do with it. I remember at that time, I flagged one idea that came up for me. This was November 2009, I think it was. And I said, we're just coming to a new year now. How about if we would actually use 12 values next year to implement one value per month, that we start as a nation to have actually, and we will be guided and coached, how do we open up conversation for what does honesty mean? And I envisioned, I saw families at dinner tables having different conversation. I see co-workers having a different type of friends. You know, you wouldn't go to the house the weather or nagging about something, but you would actually, what have you noticed, you know, what has changed for you when you started to open up for what does honesty mean? You know, that will be deeper, and we could embed their values in it. Anyway, that we decided to put that was not our job. Still, that idea was in my heart.
Yes.
And now as I'm coming to this timeout, I notice the frustration that I had in my heart, that I actually, at that time, I put myself into I'm not good enough box. I can't do it by myself, or I'm not gonna do whatever I would never do it by myself anyway. I would always get people with me, but I didn't pursue it to do it at that time for whatever reason. And that has been a big,
I think we've just
huge
had a
learning
freeze.
point for me. Yeah, because I think we could have done it better if we would have implemented it. Now, and that's my learning point today. My learning point is for everyone, we should all use this time off to reflect, to go back in time, to look at what was it that I never did, but I would have loved to do, but I kind of like put myself into I'm not good enough, I'm not big enough, or whatever. I think this little thing called coronavirus is teaching us so much. One of the things that is teaching us is that it's tiny, 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 tiny. So it's telling us size does not matter.
I've never seen it like that, but wow.
It's a tiny, tiny, tiny thing. It's when it comes together, that's what the effect is. So if we, human beings, raise our consciousness and we use this time out to really create the future that we want to live in, really go into what am I not accepting in myself? Because if I'm not accepting a gift that I have in myself, I'm most likely not accepting that in other people's heart either.
Yes.
So what are the things that I'm not tapping, not allowing? What is the thing in my X factor that I never allowed fully to go out? Because one day I was told that I wasn't good enough, or one day I was, you know, I somehow got that into my program that became my box, that wasn't special. Well, hang on a minute. It is the special thing. So now, right now in timeout, the first thing is to reflect. What did I put in my box? So you spot that, And right now it's okay to open that up and just take a look. And if your box is so full of shitty things that are absolutely something that you do not want to take with you into the future, it is time to unpack.
Yeah.
And the moment you start to unpack and you take those little things, though, and then probably moldy, and some of them are absolutely, could be stinky, but just one thing at a time you take out, and guess what happens? Whoa, there is a space in that box.
Yeah.
A beautiful space that I call the human space. And you can actually now consciously start to decide, what do I want to keep in that box? What are the things that I don't want to have anymore? But what are the things that I'm going to put instead? I want to put instead more empathy. I want to put instead more joy. I want to put instead of that, I want to contact people and have real conversation with them. I want to put in my box some bravery, some boldness, that I ask questions to people around me that makes them think, oh, what do I want to put in my box? Yeah. Oh, okay, I have a box as well. Okay, so what is in my box? And it's okay to open up a box and even have a good cry. Actually, I think it's a really good thing, because that's just one way of unpacking your box, is to unleash all of those emotions that are blocking you from really going into your life full force.
Yes.
As who you are. So from that end, 3 things. I don't know if you noticed it, but it is about reflecting. It is about what do I want to have more of, what do I want to have less of in my box. And then it is really the final thing, that once you have that ready, it's about, who do I want to be? We're so used to we're so programmed into, I have to become something, I have to have a title, I have to have, authority. Give yourself the authority to be. And that's one of the things that I so love about you, Shay.
Thank you.
And you're the example, day in and out. I talk about, do you know this lawyer who actually is a comedian, and then she is also a jazz singer, and then she's also a coach? And what is she? She is just who she is.
Yeah.
And I think you're leading the way there, because we're going to go more into that.
Yeah. Well, I think you've just got to own it with confidence as well, because a lot of people might not want to own who they are with confidence, and certainly in my 20s, when people would tell me, well, this is coming across as confused and you need to stick to one thing. And, I think the biggest lesson, as, you so rightly say, is ignore that. They don't know who you are. And the moment that I stopped thinking for a moment that any of that was true, it was the moment that no one dares say anything now.
You just spotted it, because that box actually does not exist unless you believe it exists. And we are all there. That's another fabulous thing to think about. There isn't a soul out there that isn't, in one way or another, when they hit the 3D world, they go into some part of a box. And it's just about being aware that, Nick and I, we spot these boxes left, right, center. And it's so interesting when we do that in a non-judgmental way and just in a fun way.
No, you're right. I've got a few questions on the back of, absolutely, of what you said. I think just going back to part 2 of, what do you want more of on your box? This is one of the number 1 questions I actually ask people when they come to, whether it's for law or coaching or whatever it is. What do you want? And the number of people that don't actually know always surprises me. So how do you have any advice for someone out there that actually really doesn't know what that looks like for them?
Yeah. I think my advice is, I think what has worked the best for me personally on my own journey, because obviously this is an individual journey for everyone, is to get a coach or look for a mentor that can give you that safe space for that little soul searching. There are a lot of things that are happening at this moment where people are giving out meditations, giving out online programs. I think a lot of the things that we need to just think about at the moment, and which is part of the change, is to, when you see something coming your way, that take it with the mindset, oh, why am I noticing this? What is the things that are coming my way that I'm noticing? Because there are tons of things, but there's something that is you're noticing. And if you're noticing that, just allow yourself to look at that and say, so what is that showing me? And why is it okay for me to look deeper into that? And maybe just look at that as a sign. Maybe even you're listening to our conversation, and it might be, oh, that is interesting. I want to know more about the boxes. If that is something that is ticking in your mind, I can easily say that right here and now, we have a community site that we just set up for people to just explore the boxes in a fun way. And so and that could be one thing. And you say, oh, I'm going online. I'm going to I want to be part of a community. nomoreBoxes.co actually is the URL. And that could be one thing. Or you want to learn more about what Shay is doing, or you want to know more about all the speakers and everyone that you're talking about. Just look at that as a sign that can help you. And that will be the first step that you took on your journey to discover it. It is about the thing with this is that you can't just say, here's a platter and this is who you are. It's really like more of, if I do that and I hand you a platter, then when you receive the platter, you go, okay, so this, it takes me a little time to unwind. Just spotting the box is the first step. And if you just spot the first step, and it's so interesting how the boxes, they are hiding. They're hiding in plain sight. They are.
You don't even know you have them. You got to scratch beneath the surface.
No, no. And it's just like they're going in just to show it. They come in like this, and you go, what was that? And then you go, oh, I used to always do things this way. And now I'm all of a sudden supposed to be doing it that way. And you can feel how it's uncomfortable. Just, that was a box you just left. And so one box that a lot of people in the world, I mean, 1/3 of humankind actually, is breaking one box as we speak. And that is all of a sudden have to be at home. And work from home. Wow, the workbox has changed dramatically. And and I want to point out, since it's changing dramatically, you're feeling it's uncomfortable, or this is strange, or I have to get used to this, or whatever. That's a huge opportunity. Now you can actually create from that.
We have millions of people out there that are thinking, I can work from home, and I haven't, and I think that's really magical, actually. And right now we may have a bit of overload on it because everyone has to, but there'll be an end point.
I think there's the consciousness, I was just thinking about it. I should have been in LA at this time. And I should have been on a 3-day retreat in LA, which is now being held online. And which is wonderful. And I was just saying, I thought, this is so beautiful. People from all over the world who did not fly, so no carbon footprint there.
That's true.
To LA, they're now online, having a real shift, going really deep. And one person that was there was actually going through the 3-day retreat on the beach.
Oh, beautiful. Why
Yeah,
not?
why not? You know,
I love
and
it.
she said, I'm just really enjoying this. I'm sitting here, I'm really going deep, and I'm in the sun, and I'm on the beach. See, it just kind of like
Wonderful.
opens up something you could never have, even in trillion years, imagine would be possible. And it's happening for us. And that's why I want to say to people that if you've been telling yourself, I am so used to something, you can't change me, or I can't change myself, just look at all the changes that you are changing at this moment. And make
Amazing.
that your lesson that you can change in
In a heartbeat.
of a second.
Absolutely. So leading on to the point 3 that you talked about earlier was who you are and who do you want to be. And again, that's something, it's quite a deep question for a lot of people, because you don't really know who I am, let alone who I'm going to transition into. So I was wondering if you could speak a bit more to that, and what would you say to someone who, well, doesn't even know who they are in the first place, for a start?
I like the exercise of and I've always thought it has been really insightful and an opening thing when I've helped people discover their X factor, which has been part of my branding process. Yes. And if I can just, I think it might be a good idea, and I'm just thinking about this as we go, for people to look at their 2 hands.
Yeah, do it now.
Yeah, look at the 2 hands. And if we start by looking at your right hand and the palm of your right hand, and you think about things that you loved in your life, the things that really made you feel that you were in your flow, it was like your passion. And think about the things that really makes you, I mean, time just passes by when you're in that state. And take that and put that into your right hand there. And then look at your right elbow and think about the story that has brought you here, the things that have really made the cornerstone in your life, and that you put that in your right elbow here. And then take up your left hand, and in your palm of your left hand, think about the things that really make you often irritated, or makes you it makes your head turn sometimes. It's something that really makes you shift, and that is your values, the things that you might not have been honoring because you didn't know where they were. You've been no more in, your mind has been more in what do I need to do to be accepted, but go into more what really frustrates you. Like when you're watching television or something, what really frustrates you? That kind of can be your values are not being heard, or you're not honoring them. So put them there. And finally, what I want you to do is to look at your left elbow there. And in your left elbow, think about all the knowledge that you've experienced and the things that really shifted your life in one shape or form. Knowledge that someone taught you, or experience, or whatever. So if you take your 2 arms here and you have it full, okay? And now you're ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we slowly put them together to form an X. Okay, and have you noticed where that is, the X is?
It's where they meet.
Exactly, but they are right in front of your
tits, as you would say.
That's your X factor. And that is the beauty that you are, and that is the thing that you should honor, because that's where your soul sits, and that's where everything is. It's the source. And it's just a journey. It's just a journey. You will know more tomorrow than you knew today, and you will go deeper the day after that, and you will go a little bit deeper the day after that. And it's not about it's about It's not about saying I'm not, what sort of an idiot am I? I don't know about my future. I don't know about my expert. It's not about that. It is about, today I'm going to learn a little bit more. And today I'm going to learn a little bit more. And that's how it goes, step by step.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you. God, the time has actually just flown by in this. But I've got, a couple more questions for you. One is, have you got any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our audience out there today?
My final thought is, and I want to just repeat this, make this halftime the halftime where you really decided who you want to be and what you want to see different in your world from now on, and be that.
Yeah, love it. And we spoke about lots of projects that you've set up, you've been involved in. If this lovely audience would like to connect with you, where can they go and how can they do that?
I think it's easier to use the Runa Magnus handle. I'm Runa Magnus on Twitter, on Instagram. My website is runamagusdottir, and from there they can basically connect with me on all the social media platforms.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for your time today. Please stay safe in Iceland. Can't wait to come and visit again when we're allowed to go somewhere.
Yeah, when that time comes, yeah.
We'll be going everywhere.
Yeah, we will.
All right, lots of love. Take care.
Thank you.